Hey guys, Dr. Seamus Allen here, and in this video, I am so excited to break down some of my top tips for overcoming and healing teen and young adult acne. And this is an incredible passion of mine, being someone who has been through a plethora of skin issues and breakouts and blemishes and even traditional acne and whiteheads and even things like boils and carbuncle cysts and severe cystic acne, inflammatory acne. And this is something that occurred for me through high school and into undergrad and grad school and into practice afterwards. And it was very difficult to the point where I was skipping school at times. I would isolate myself. I did not want to be in public. It can take a very real toll emotionally and mentally, in addition to just the physical manifestation. And so being on the other side now, I am so excited to be able to put forth some instruction and some tips here in this video. And I'm going to be breaking down about 7 different pillars and concepts of things that can really turn the dial to start healing quickly and naturally. Now, the number one thing I'm going to put forth here is really dialing in and optimizing food and beverage. You know, when we eat, it either fuels inflammation or it eradicates and dissipates inflammation. And we need to be doing everything we can to bring down inflammatory levels. And so right off the bat, there are 4 main categories we want to avoid when optimizing the skin: refined grains, conventional dairy products, hydrogenated oils, as well as artificial sugars. We want to avoid those things because they fuel inflammation. And think about refined grains. You're taking away the bran in the germ and you're left with the starchy endosperm, devoid of fiber, devoid of nutrients, many nutrients. It's really an empty source of calories, and it doesn't really do the body any good. It doesn't add a lot of nutritive and nutritional value. And then when it comes to conventional dairy products, not all dairy is bad, and that's a big topic when it comes to skin health. But the problem with conventional dairy is that these cows have been treated with RBST and growth hormone, or they've been given antibiotics, or the antibiotics, they're injected with it or it's in their feed, and that can then be consumed by the human and get in us. And so that's where the problem occurs, is that we're having kind of these artificial growth hormones, and it can throw things off hormonally and cause problems with skin breakouts. Hydrogenated oils and vegetable oils and industrial seed oils, canola, safflower, sunflower, cottonseed, palm, peanut, soybean, all these types of things are not going to be the best, are not going to provide a favorable omega-3, omega-6 ratio in the body, and they really drive inflammatory levels up. I always recommend things like extra virgin olive oil, coconut, or avocado oil to really focus on. And then when it comes to artificial sugars, and even just sweeteners, dyes, food colorings, preservatives, additives, anything processed packaged is really not going to be the best. And that can really lead to what's called a state of dysbiosis and too many bad bugs in the gut compared to the good ones. And so we really want to optimize the good, healthy gut bacteria like Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, Saccharomyces, Boulardii, and certain microorganisms that are going to provide a favorable outlook on overall health as well as skin. Now, another thing I want to mention here is just certain things that are going to be the best to promote good skin health when it comes to diet. So we want to really take a look at things like a wide variety and range of vegetables, especially cruciferous vegetables, which are going to be things that initiate liver detoxification enzymes. And so I always recommend things like kale, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. These are great cruciferous options that are going to help expel toxins and pollutants from the body. So we want a range of vegetables, moderate fruit intake, especially things like berries, which are great in fiber, have antioxidant power there. And even things like pears, blueberries, citrus can be good as well, and kiwi, and some vitamin C rich options there. And then fermented foods are going to be good as well. And these are great to really start slowly with so as not to tax the system too much. But things like sauerkraut, kimchi, maybe a yogurt, again, organic quality, not the conventional type. Sometimes you might want to stick with a coconut base, but And then things like miso or natto or tempeh, even kombucha, these are things that are going to colonize the colon with beneficial bacteria and start to help allow the gut landscape to have better gut bugs compared to the harmful, pathogenic, or opportunistic ones. And then, when it comes to carbs, I recommend things like buckwheat, things like wild rice, even squash, sweet potatoes, gluten-free oats. These can be really good options when it comes to carb intake. For fats, we want to optimize and really look to incorporate avocados, coconut oil, coconut products, chia seeds, flax seeds, nuts like walnuts and almonds, organic eggs. These are going to be great options there. And proteins, lean and clean options, organic turkey and chicken, wild caught salmon, grass-fed beef. The tempeh can fit in there as well. So if we can really focus on these types of foods rather than those 4 inflammatory categories, we're gonna really start to decrease the cellular inflammation, start to heal up the gut, and allow the skin to start to become clear and to really just have a glow, this radiant glow, and can really beautify the skin from that dietary element alone. When it comes to beverages, we want to really optimize hydration, and I would recommend hydrating with water to the point where it's between clear to light yellow urine, and also incorporating some green tea, very powerful antioxidants with EGCG and L-theanine in there, and even an organic coffee can be okay. I recommend whole bean that is ground at the time of brewing, consuming that before 2 p.m., maybe a cup or 2 a day there. But organic coffee, remember, coffee can really have a mold issue if you're not careful with the organic nature of that. So you really want to make sure it's a good quality organic whole bean coffee. And then, so that's kind of the food and beverage component there. Another factor and another pillar is sleep. And the body requires sleep to regenerate, to renew, and to refresh, recalibrate, re-energize. So important. If we're not sleeping well, we're not healing well, hormones can be all over the place, cortisol can be high, it can really manifest on the skin and show on the skin. And so I recommend, 7 to 9 hours of sleep, a dark room, uninterrupted. You don't want to be drinking a lot beforehand or a lot of fluid intake before you go to bed where you're getting up through the night. That can throw off the sleep cycles, or maybe you're not getting enough deep sleep or REM-based sleep. So sometimes you can use maybe a blindfold type thing, or even before bed using blue light limiting glasses so you're not really exposing yourself to that blue light that can interfere with circadian rhythms. So sleep is so important. We need to be really optimizing that, getting about 7 to 9 hours, probably ideally going to bed if possible between 10 and 11 p.m., not later than that, just to really allow the body to recalibrate properly. A couple other things I'm going to mention more on the quicker side is, stress management. We know that stress, if we're living in a sympathetic dominant state, that is not going to do us any favors. And in fact, it really just causes hormonal imbalances, and that taxes the hypothalamus, the pituitary, the thyroid, the adrenal glands, and it's just going to throw things out of whack and can then interfere with sleep as well. It just tightens muscles. It's not good for the body at all. So we need to be really limiting stress in that stressful state. And some things I like to do personally, starting my day off, reading the Bible, starting off with gratitude and just listing off what I'm thankful for. For me, things like going to the gym or going on a walk or playing guitar, as you can see in the background there, or just, listening to music. It's really important that we have proper stress management so that we can really bring down inflammatory levels, balance hormones, and make sure cortisol, epinephrine are not too high. Another thing is supplementation, and this is very individualized, and I can't really go forth and put forward an objective protocol for everyone, but a few supplements that can be very good. Things like zinc, the immune mineral, is so important. A lot of people with acne deal with zinc deficiency, and we really want to be able to optimize and have proper levels of things like zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A for epithelial and skin health, even vitamin E. So really making sure we're getting a plethora of vitamins. Now, a lot of times in our food supply today, these things can be naturally limited from farming practices and just maybe less soil rotation, less nutrients in the foods. And so it can be good to supplement, but we really need to make sure we're getting good quality supplements. I do not really recommend things from just general big box retailers, but really ordering through a healthcare practitioner to make sure you're really getting quality nutrients that are chock full of the marketed ingredient, and that's going to go a long way there. Another thing and another pillar is household cleaning products and toxins. And this is something where a lot of us, we're using things like Windex or just different products that are really laced and chock full of synthetic chemicals and just different dyes and elements that are really not going to be good. There can be the transdermal absorption that gets in the body, or just inhaling the fumes of that can really start to bog down the body and the liver with toxins. And so really optimizing the household cleaning products we're using, I recommend Pure Haven. I really like their products. I think they're pretty clean overall. And so really just being conscientious and having that mindset of being able to really use products that are not laced with a bunch of chemicals and synthetics. Even things that have more essential oils can be good in that regard there. Another thing I like to mention is just overall mindset. And sometimes we've been told, whether from other people or from doctors, or that it's just genetic or we're never going to get better, assuming that kind of mentality is only going to hamper any kind of progress. And so we need to believe and really ideally have a vision of where you want to be, maybe a week down the road, a month or 3 months or whatever, and envision being well, being clear, looking in the mirror with a smile on your face. I'm telling you, it is possible and it can happen. We just need the right protocols in place. Also, exercise is another component. And a lot of times you might think, what in the world does that have to do with skin health at all? But what's interesting in a study I read is that people who are more sedentary, turns out they have an unhealthy composition of microflora. And so really activity can start to stimulate a healthy gut. We know how important the gut is for overall skin health as well. And so it doesn't have to be anything advanced or elaborate, but I would say start off just getting the body moving, maybe a simple walk, jumping on a rebound or a trampoline, doing some stairs, or really what you enjoy doing. Maybe it's playing tennis or riding a bike or swimming. Just getting the body in motion is so incredibly beneficial. So really that wraps up a lot of what I wanted to put forth in this video. I hope this was very advantageous and beneficial. I wanted to break down these components and these elements and protocols when it comes to healing the skin. I thank the Lord for my journey of being able to be healed. Thanks be to God. And at being on the other side, I believe I have a responsibility to share some of the things I've learned. And I truly believe if you're able to put some of these components and what was mentioned here into effect, into your daily routine, I believe you're going to see profound skin healing transformations and victories. And so at the tail end of this video, one thing I do want to mention too is that I work one-on-one with clients. So one thing I want to mention at the end of this video is if you are someone, maybe you have a teen or a young adult struggling with acne and they just need a little more attention to detail and they need a little bit more of a structured program, I would love to invite you to a one-on-one strategy session discovery call with myself where we can talk about a customized plan and blueprint specific to their needs. That's something I love to do in my SkinRenew Transformation program. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm going to drop a link in the description and you can feel free to go to the booking calendar there, and I would be very happy to jump on a call and see how we can work together to get your child or your teen skin healing victories and results by looking at a customized protocol specific to them. But hey, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this video. I hope it was beneficial and I look forward to hearing about your success. Please drop any comments below. I'd love to hear what you implemented, what you noticed, and how it went for you. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will catch you next time.